Hey there everyone, my name is Monkey Shop, I'm from the guys who play games, back with some more A2XT2, episode 2, and I think this part's going to be dedicated to ports and towns. I mean, I say that, but there's not that much to do in ports. There's Mishi here, I think that's her name, and she will eventually sell clothes, but for now there's not much. And then there's the dev storage for dev storage. It's kind of funny to say, but there's nothing really in here at first. Although I think it's kind of funny all this stuff's in here now, because a lot of the stuff was not in here at first. Like, this used to be a pretty empty room, and not only that, a big thing is you used to be able to move the boxes, because the boxes in here were different boxes that you could pick up and move, which means you could move the NPCs because the boxes affected them. So, if you were persistent enough, you could just walk up to Holo here and just push her to her death with boxes. Fun times. I love box murder. It's the greatest. There's the character room. I say the character room like there's literally nothing in here right now except the box. It used to be that, what's his face, that character we saw in the cutscene, Garish? I think that's his name. There was a while where, the flags for him showing up in the warehouse weren't actually set up, so he was just always in there. So you would watch the cutscene of him being like, yo, what's going on? And then you'd come in here, walk into that room, and he'd just already be in there. I think that's kind of funny. Because I remember, like, it's in hindsight, it's pretty obvious it wasn't meant to be. But when I was first doing this, right, I was just like, I was legitimately confused. Like, I really thought, like, oh, did I misunderstand? It's like, no, he's just not supposed to be in there. Hamburger. I think you can buy infinite lives in here. Yeah, 45. These used to be so much cheaper. The infinite resupply stuff used to be like dirt cheap. Like, I think the infinite guardians were just like, it was like 10. So for 10 route coins, you could just have as much food as you want, provided you were willing to, run around a bit. Is that a cattail? Wait, what did he say? Okay, but don't you think they oughter be? Heck yeah. And there's the tempura. This is another place that changed a lot through development. Because as you can imagine, a lot of the characters in here were kind of, thought up on the fly. This is such a fun little area, though. I think there was a brief time where these two here, Susan. Is Susan the one on the left? Where Susan's sprite was like a pixel lower, so instead of seeing her mouth, it just looked like she was like gnawing on the table, which is pretty funny. The very, very, very nice little detail though is that these doors go in and out, and from your perspective, right, you can see like you're behind this door because it goes into the foreground. And they actually thought up the detail that if you're going up, if you're going into the foreground, you go look up, but if you're going back, you look backward, right? Which is like, it's a super minor thing, but like, it's a nice touch. I said it, but kind of another funny thing is that Cood, in classic Cood fashion, he doesn't care. He just always does. Like, they never bothered to give him. Actually, that's not even true. He does have a back-facing sprite. They just don't use it because it's funnier in this instance, because he always just looks forward. Because Cood is Cood. I hope I'm saying the name right. Cood is Cood, right? Yeah. Because here's the problem when you play the Paper Mario games, right? The Paper Mario games have their own Kooper. Like, I think N64 Paper Mario is Kooper, and then TTYD is Koops. And I used to get that mixed up because it's like, there's too many Kooper dudes, Koopas. There's all this stuff in here. I'm not gonna bother reading any of this because, like, I mean, if you want to read it, download the game yourself and play it. There's like a million text entries in here because they are very. The developers are very dedicated, you know, like they take this stuff, you know, much more seriously than pretty much anyone else. Especially given that the official thread for Roundhouse playthrough, a lot of people, like I don't think anyone was really complaining necessarily, but there were people kind of like making fun, I feel like, that things are being taken a little seriously, which is like, I get it, but at the same time it's like, you know, like what you can't just, there comes a point where if you're just always making fun of that kind of stuff, it eventually kind of loses the, like it's kind of stops being funny, if you get what I'm saying. Like eventually it's just like, okay, haha, you broke the fourth wall for the, you know, 10 trillionth time. Am I supposed to laugh? But maybe that's just the slight pessimist in me. Alright, Palamundo. Pal to end all pals. Is there a thing up here? Sure is. I love that he bounces. Like, I didn't just throw him up and he jumped. Like, he threw him up and he, like, bounced and then jumped. You know what I mean? Oh, the ants. Right, yeah. This is such a nice little feature. The fact that they, like... Because, like, that's such a thing, with, especially with Talk House projects, is getting your power-ups filtered arbitrarily. Just because you come across a level that doesn't want you using, you know, mildly powerful power-ups. So it's nice to have a place that's just like, nah, you can just ignore that. Alright. Mighty Leap. Alright, sorry, Palamundo, you can't come up here. He doesn't directly dig up this treasure chest, but he indirectly does, because the only other way you're getting up to this card is if you, you know, obviously fly to it. And while you can just fly to it randomly, you're not going to know where it is unless, you know... I mean, you could, either using prior knowledge or just having worked on this stuff. That's a hiccup. But, I mean, you could also just fly randomly. That's kind of how it goes. Because, I mean, like, my, whatchamacallit, my level before... Right, that had the moon at the top. That's based on a Super Mario World level where, in I think one of the Yoshi's Island levels, I think it's Yoshi's Island 2, has a moon in the sky somewhere. And keep in mind that it's not even possible to get a cape until you get to Donut Plains, right? So the only way to get that moon is to backtrack. Like very specifically, you have to kind of like replay that level with a cape. It's the only way you get that moon. I like a Boluna. Hakuna Matata. Domo Arigato. Mr. Matato. That's a reference you won't understand. I love these little worms. This secret used to be a little like less obvious because it used to be just the submarine. Right? It didn't used to have the worm telling you that like there's nothing weird here, which was changed, I guess, because people would see the submarine and just not think anything of it. Which, fair enough. It's one of those things where, like, you know, either somebody's going to walk up to it right away and just be like, hey, weird submarine, and go down. And there's probably a lot of people who just don't think anything about it and never find that. You know what I mean? Personally, I think they could have done it by just having somebody tell you that the submarine looks weird. But, I mean, you know, it is what it is, right? This is just a different way to do it that's more, like, obvious about it. I do find it funny that the World 1 has the town at the very end, and then World 2, because of the port stuff, it shoves the town right at the start. So you have this leak sanctuary that's not really useful right now. I do have these costumes. Are these the Player 2 costumes? Yeah. I might as well use all these, right? These costumes are... I really like the alternate color palettes for these. I'll just buy all these. Like, I don't know if it's, like, the Player 2 in me that makes sense, but I really do like the Player 2 outfits. In fact, since we're here, Cood is, in fact, right here. I know I gave him the Robin Cood outfit, but, oh, I forgot about it has the boot. But we'll go Player 2 colors for now. Now I'm in a floating potato sack that's filled with fiery vengeance. Should I go do the minigame now? I think I'll wait. Well, let's explore the rest of the town first. I mean, I say that, but there's not really much else at this point, I don't think. I can talk to Demo, which I might as well, because I can probably go get food for her. Because, let me see. There's this area. There used to be a funny glitch where if you purchase this, like, any of this food while you're on the ground, like, the way it works, I'm not sure if it's the exact same. I think it actually is. I don't think they change it because it's just the easiest way to do it. Is what it does is it literally just, when you buy it, it literally just spawns it directly on your coordinates. And it just so happens that by doing that, it spawns, like, a pixel in the floor. So the power-ups would either zoom off out of bounds or it would zoom over to the ladder. Which is, like, a really, like, funny, like, bug. It's just like you buy your power-up and it just flies away. Is that Steve? Yeah. Might as well buy stuff. I got food. I mean, what's the... Huh. I forgot he can give Starman. Well... That's... I guess I'll buy something else. Give me power-ups, man. I want not a Starman. That's a bit better. The witch... All the Tanuki costumes are fantastic, by the way. Like, a lot of the demos are, like, witch-themed because it's, like, you know, Marissa, funny, haha. It's kind of funny to think that Raocow's channel has such a, like, deep-seated Toho aspect to it, even though he's, like... Has he ever even played a Toho game on the channel? At least, like, a main one. Maybe he's played a couple, like... fan games, but has he played like any of the official Toes? I cannot remember. I don't think he has, but to be fair, I haven't watched too much of that stuff, so you know, fair enough. I mean, back in 2005, you know, I was in middle school, and the only person I watched was Proton John. That's the only guy. I never watched Wugga or Psychedelic at all. I didn't even know they existed, even though he mentions them in his videos, but for some reason, I was just like, who's those guys? I'm not even going to bother looking them up. I just watched Proton John, man. Special Stage 2, baby. Let's go buy a Sheath costume. And if I did already buy a Sheath costume, let's go switch to it. Why not? I did not. I really like the Player 2 costumes. I mean, I've said that already, but like, yeah, like, they're really good. Like, these color palettes are just really nice looking. They're kind of blue themed, which is kind of funny given that Demo is herself Player 1 and is blue themed, but I think that's just because a lot of the Player 2 colors are just like inverted colors basically. They just swap the colors of like their clothes and their other colors. Anyways, yeah, here's the shoot the targets game. This isn't too hard, but it can be a little tricky. The thing is that when it's like this, it can be kind of like if you're not already on top of it, it can be sometimes just impossible to get everything. It's generally symmetrical, so if you see one on the left, you know, you should immediately zoom over to the right. I mean, the trick with this more than anything is just always keep moving. Like, it seems silly to say, but it's like, yeah, like, just, you know, and don't spam, because if you miss, right, there's cooldown, and that cooldown's pretty nasty. I think, actually, if you hit the target, you don't generally get much of a cooldown. So it's not too bad. Just, you know, be accurate. I figured out the score to get. Is it 2,000? I hope it's... Oh, fuck. I might not get this, then. What was the score to get? Steve said... Oh, the house record's 6... Okay, never mind. I did pretty well, actually. This is my first try. I'd say it's because I play a lot of FPSs, but that's... First of all, that's not even true. I only really play Halo. I guess I play Gears of War a little bit. Not really much. Like, I used to, I guess. Because I do like their campaigns, but... Like, it's like, I guess I also play a little bit of Borderlands, but I digress. That doesn't really matter for this. This isn't really a first-person shooter in that sense, because it's... I might as well do it again. Like, why not? Because it's... I'm using a D-pad, right? That's the trick. Anyways, I think it's on the left. The thing that makes this much easier to do is if you memorize it. Because it's always the same, right? There's no RNG, thankfully. The tricky ones is when it's like they appear both on the left and right. Dang, that sucks. Well, you know, it is what it is. That's it's kind of funny. I feel like I've already done worse because I missed the 100. Oh yeah, I definitely did worse. Oh, maybe not. Wait. Actually, is this exactly the same? I'm pretty sure it is, but maybe I just don't remember it properly. Ah, yeah, that's the tricky one. The double blue. It's kind of funny. The hardest one is the blue. There you go. Actually, I got exactly the same score. That's funny. Well, how many coins do I get? 20 coins. That's not bad. I'm not gonna do it again because I've done it twice, but you know, it's not a bad point total. I guess. I don't want to play the next level of Sheath because I know what level is next. It's my level, and it's fairly long for this early on, like for World 2, because it has both. Technically, it doesn't have a secret exit. It used to be a secret exit, but it just got changed to a leak, and then it just puts you into the rest of the level. But it's still a fairly long level, so I think I will go ahead and end it here because this will be a short part, I guess. But this is like a half-hour level, like. It's fairly long. Like it's here because it's themed to Ice World, and it's also, you know, a good place to just put a thing. But yeah, that'll be it for this part. See you guys later.